Welcome back to another episode of Alestletics. We have a very special episode, which we kind of alluded to in our other show that we have, Alestle After Hours, last week. Audrey, I know you weren't here, but we talked all about basketball and Destiny. You might have met Destiny coach Sam in the press conference as she did a story on women's basketball, and I also wrote a column on women's basketball. So we decided might as well have all these people from women's basketball on. But first, obviously, co-host Audrey O'Rennick is off to my left, and our very special guest, head coach Sam Quigley-Smith, is off to my right. Coach Sam, thanks for joining us in studio today.
Yeah, great to be here. So fun to be back.
And yeah, speaking of being back, Coach Sam is our first returning guest, so we have so much to celebrate today.
Yeah.
What a Christmas miracle as we head into the holiday season. Well, Coach Sam, we have a very big reason to have you back on. Obviously, the team that you are overseeing is having quite the start to its season as they are about to head into conference play. They recently just kind of broke the news with starting their best season in 12 years with a 7-3 record on non-conference play. So I'm sure you're very excited about that. Lots of buzz going around First Community Arena, I'm sure. So just kind of tell us your thoughts on going into the season and the success that they've had to start.
Yeah, it's great and big confidence builder just to be in a non-conference situation where you're seeing success, you're winning games. There's a lot of balance in terms of our roster when it comes to scoring and, statistical contribution. So just really fun for our group. They're definitely learning how to win. So it's been a couple years since I think we've been in that position where we've felt like early on we've got something brewing that's pretty great. And obviously all of it is preparing us for the Ohio Valley Conference, which will start tomorrow, Thursday, so at Eastern Illinois, and then we'll have Western Illinois next week before the Christmas break. But just all around, it's just really, really fun, exciting to coach this group, to coach this team. We've got a lot of returners, but then also some really great new additions that I'm sure we'll talk about here in a couple minutes. But yeah, it's really exciting, fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're not done yet.
Yes, it's only beginning, really.
Yep.
And just to kind of recap the season in very focal points, we had the season kicking off just right away, 96-47 win over Missouri Baptist. Then the education game against Indiana State. We're going to talk a little bit about that later on, but an 81-71 win. That was a pretty big game for you guys as well. And I included this one. I know it's a loss, which is kind of odd, but I think it's a really telling story of going in and only losing by 9 to Missouri. And you had a lead going in at the half. So that's a really impressive effort, I think, by your squad against an SEC team, and shows that you have some resilience. Because what I wanted to note was after that, you came back and won your next game. And it seems like after all the losses you guys have faced, there's not been that, sink back. No, it's just take the next step and win the next game.
Yeah, certainly. And with an SEC team and the way they've been playing, they have a new coaching staff, a lot of new players on their roster. I think at the time they might have been 8-2. So for us to come into their place and to have a different energy about us and a different pep in our step was just really great and reassuring for our group to see, like, hey, we can play with anybody in the country. So I think that piece of it gave us some really good confidence. That's probably why you saw a pretty good bounce back after that for our team to be just really prepared on the road, to get a win at Valpo. All of those little things that game brought us. But we also learned some things, like the end of the game, we maybe didn't execute as best we could. And so we learned a lot from those games and the 3 losses that we have had.
Yeah, for sure. But that's, I think, been the biggest vibe change for as a fan or a journalist watching the team is just like there's no sink into that losing mentality. It's hey, we lost this game. Let's go back and get on the next one,
Yeah.
And it definitely it's been great to watch. I know Audrey can tell you I've been so excited to talk about the team and the success. So
yeah.
And then lastly, I just wanted to throw this stat out there because it's really interesting to me that you have 3 100-point scorers already, only 10 games in. So again, and you mentioned 2 of them are freshmen, which we're about to jump into that topic here. But that's really exciting. I'm sure you're quite happy with the scoring effort.
Yeah, definitely. And just the balance, to have multiple players, I think it's been a couple years since we've had, just that balance and that understanding that at any point on any given night could be anybody's night.
Yeah.
So our team has really bought into that concept, sharing the basketball, making extra passes for not just a average or good shot, but a great one. And so our team has really bought into that.
Absolutely, yeah. It's every team with more threats is a better team for sure. Let's talk about the freshmen. I'm sure Audrey and we have so many questions because we're about to have those 2 top-tier freshmen on the show in a little bit. Not to throw any surprises away, but let's talk about Kiyoko Proctor and Lauren Miller. Audrey, do you want to ask Coach Sam about Kiyoko Proctor and her leading success so far?
Yeah, so she is leading with 132 points, which is incredible. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, her specifically, I think being so local, she's from Alton, Illinois. I've been watching her since she was in like 7th, 8th grade. She was one of our first scholarship offers when I arrived here as a head coach and our staff. And so just to see her development, she was another one who, had a substantial injury in high school. She tore her ACL her junior year, came back. You could see the fight in her eyes and the will to want to win and to even want to stay home and be around here and allow her family to watch every game, her former teammates, friends, supporters. So, what she's done here in 10 games is pretty phenomenal. And not only has she done a great job from a scoring standpoint, but she's also showed, that she can guard, that she can do other things. She's got 18 steals on the year. So just little aspects like that are, and it's so funny. There'll be people that watch and they're like, man, Kiyoko never changes expressions, and she is just like a stone cold. It's not really freshman-like. So it's really cool just to see that experience come out of her. And, she'll get frustrated here and there, but like most of the time you can't tell.
Yeah.
So she lets things go and she works on the next play. Very similar to, I think, what our team is doing, when they respond in really good ways after adversity hits. But Kiyoko's a leading one when it comes to that.
Yeah, and you mentioned those 18 steals, which I think most of them, if I don't obviously have this stat in front of me, but have been in the defensive side and have turned into those scoring opportunities for Kiyoko.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That not only is it like one great statistically, but it's great in the building, the energy of the fan.
Mm-hmm.
Like they get excited during these steals and these like crazy rushes from Kiyoko Proctor. So I mean, talk about that, just the vibe on the bench, because not everyone gets that side of it.
Yeah, no, it certainly brings a different energy about not just our team, but like the fans that are watching, and like they're seeing a different kind of basketball, a different brand of basketball. My father likes to call her Special K.
Oh.
So if you're looking for a nickname, that's one, and I'll share with you what Lauren Miller's is as well. But Special K, does a great job, I think, of not only bringing energy on the offensive end, which is always really fun to watch, but also something on the defensive end, which is great.
Yeah, no, she's been thrilling to watch. But that's not to take away from Lauren Miller either, who was back-to-back Freshman of the Week in the OVC, who also has a respectable 125 points herself. But I don't want to say like her style is different, but it feels very like she calms the team down to me when I watch. Like she's always in control, it seems like, whether it's in her side of the court or the offensive side. It's impressive to watch. I'm sure it's a joy as a coach, knowing to have trust in a player.
Definitely, and it's like a great level of maturity and patience. And you don't see that a lot in young players and freshmen that come in and can just establish themselves, but also like play calm and play under control, and know that, okay, I might have a double or a triple team at some point, and how do I react to that, and how do I adjust to that? And obviously both of them are sharing the basketball pretty well when it comes to assists. So just to have Lauren, again, another local woman, she's within a couple hours of here, so brings a great fan section every home game, which is really, really fun. But yes, Larry Bird.
Yeah, that's her nickname.
Larry Bird.
I love it.
You just call her Larry. She probably doesn't even know who Larry Bird is. You should ask her, which is sad in itself.
That I hope she does know who Larry Bird.
I know. He did a lot more trash talking than her, though. She doesn't trash talk. She lets her game.
That's going to be my question to them: is how much trash talking they do.
They let their game speak for themselves. They don't say a lot of things.
Well, and honestly, well respected.
Yeah.
They don't. I mean, that's going to be one of my questions: is does the OVC have like your guys' mailing address? Because they like send you the Freshman of the Week award every week.
Yeah, right.
It
has been pretty consistent, which is great.
So I'm sure that's a great vibe. But obviously, there's been a couple other freshmen too, and we're going to talk about this as well. Really, the recruitment, I think, was just unbelievable this season. 4 incoming freshmen, 3 of them from Illinois. As you mentioned, the 2 leading the team are like 2 hours away from here, which is honestly hard to believe. And 1 from Missouri, and that would be Stemmons, who's from Missouri, I believe.
Yeah, Columbia.
So and not to mention, 3 of the 4 5'10" or taller, which is obviously always a helpful attribute in a basketball team. Obviously, Kiyoko Proctor plays like she's over 6
Yeah.
foot, though. I mean,
does.
really.
She's
So-
tiny, but
but hey, that she plays with a big game. So I mean, just kind of talk about the recruitment process and how you managed to swindle all these players.
yeah. The size was definitely a big factor. We wanted to get bigger, we wanted to get longer, a little bit more versatile. Even what Saray and Caitlin Cassidy have brought, and Caitlin being from that Peoria area, Saray from Columbia, not too far either. We were just really looking for players that could play multiple positions, that could give us something contributing wise on the defensive end as well. And so definitely their length, really all four of the freshmen, but in particular the taller 5'10" ones, 5'11" ones, have been great additions. And Saray and Caitlin haven't gotten as much playing time, but their contribution off the game day and practices and on that daily grind, is something that's really making all of us better.
Yeah.
Which is great to see. And Saray had a great game the other night against Harris Stowe with 13 off the bench.
Yes.
Which is great to see her get going a little bit.
Definitely.
Runs the floor really well, is aggressive offensively. So you got to see that a little bit the other night.
Yeah, it seemed the way I would describe your team is a bunch of Swiss Army knives. Like they really just seem like
I like that.
They really are. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter who it is on the court. They just all have the ability to, like you said, play any role that's needed in its particular game. So maybe Kiyoko Proctor's focused on offense that day, then it seems like Lauren Miller knows to lock down the defensive side.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And even we'll talk about some of the grad transfers, the returners.
Yes.
But they've understood what their role needs to be that day.
Yes.
Tomorrow might be a Macy day.
Yes.
The next day might be a Bukola day. The next day might be a Lauren day. The next day might be a Kiyoko day. And I think that part of it is so refreshing to have. And a little bit, I think teams can get into and fall into spans of selfishness / I've got to get my own stuff and not worry so much about the team and what the team needs you to do to be successful.
Yeah, and basketball is just not one of those sports, unfortunately.
No, it's not. It's definitely a team sport. There's two sides of the basketball. You can't just play one side. So it's just been really great.
Yeah, it is.
And now with the recruitment process comes some challenges in the transfer portal. And so SIUE lost Ava Stoller to EIU and Brianna Woldridge to Tennessee State. How did you navigate the losses?
Yeah, I think it's just this time period of college athletics.
Yes.
And so you almost expect it. And I know that sounds, you certainly don't want it as a coach, but, love both of them, wish them the best. And I told them that as they were departing, but you just have to regroup. You have to say, okay, this is what we lost. This is what graduated. And now let's go to the drawing board. And we're looking in the transfer portal. We're looking into freshmen that can come in, make substantial impact and contribute right away. And so certainly, it is what it is kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you just move on. You just move on and you find players that you feel can elevate you to another level and another place. And certainly that's what we were trying to do. We weren't as successful as we wanted to be last year, the last two seasons really. And so now we're in a place of, okay, this is what we've been building toward. These are the players that we feel can take us to another level. And we'll do the same thing this coming spring. We'll evaluate who has graduated, whether people get fifth years or not. All these rules are changing. It seems like every couple months.
Yes.
So you just have to work and fly by the seat of your pants and know that hey, it's going to be fine if we really put our heads together as a staff and find what it is that we're missing in the voids that we need.
Absolutely. I just did a class with President Mahoney, actually, who teaches about intercollegiate athletics and all that stuff. And really, it's such a business feel, which is a shame. But at the same time, it's nice to see, I know Ava Stoller is having quite the successful story at EIU, and you guys will see her tomorrow, which this will release post game, but that's okay. So hopefully you'll enjoy seeing each other and the game goes well for that. But I know Brianna Woldridge was really a key player last season as well, leading the team in points at multiple stages. So the replacement for these players has been big. So the recruitment for you is hats off to you, honestly.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
I also want to mention, and you kind of alluded to it a little bit, the graduate students you brought in. Just talk about both of them, because they might not be leading the team in points, but they're definitely leading the team in other aspects.
Yeah, I mean, rebounding was a big piece of what we were looking for in the transfer portal. Not only that, but size. We needed to get bigger. We needed to get stronger. Obviously, Cyan being 6'3", 6'4", having a great wingspan, can block shots, rebounds the ball really well, and had a great game the other night against Valpo, a Missouri Valley opponent. And Bukola, just being a rebounder for us. Those little aspects, being great screeners, things that we really needed I would say in the past we've now found in some of our transfers, which is great.
Yeah.
But they also bring experience. They're 4th and 5th year players, and that's something that I think people take for granted, like someone who can come in and they have a maturity about them, they have a leadership ability. Obviously, those two being captains as well as our other 2 seniors in Macy and Jaden Bryant, I think that brings a different level of like understanding to your group.
Yes.
You've got young players that are playing a lot of minutes, and then you've got 4 seniors that, hey, we've been here, a couple returners that have gone through some adversity and tough times here, and the other 2 that are bringing in a winning mentality.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And you mentioned Cyan Muhammad, who has 46 points and 64% in field goal percentage. I mean, and then you mentioned rebounds, 65 rebounds total on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Just really impressive stats. And you also mentioned senior Macy Sylvie and Jaden Bryant. Sylvie, who has 103 points, she's that other 100-point scorer, also doing very well in the 3-point percentage area. It just seems like you have every asset you need to fill every statistic, really going up and down your lineup. What's for the coaching side, and I know you mentioned like even the players that aren't getting a lot of minutes in practice, they're the ones that push the players that have the spot to be their best so they don't lose it.
Yeah.
I mean, what's it like for you just watching the machine kind of work as it's supposed to?
It's been great. Obviously we've had some challenges in the past. I think a big piece of it, and I shouldn't say this on here, knock on wood, is the health. We've had some good health, and that's something that I think in the last couple of years we've had people out for multiple games, and it's been hard to kind of like recover if they're prominent players that are big contributors. So now to have a healthy roster and to have, we have 15 at every practice, almost 14 players to practice at every practice, and we bring practice guys in as well. But yeah, certainly just to see players come in and make immediate impact. Obviously, you have a Sylvie and Jaden that return, that are seniors that were big contributors last year and are going to continue to be big contributors this year. But now to have now you have the young group of our freshmen that are playing, a couple of them starting right away, having huge contribution, and then you have some grad transfers coming in that are doing great things. I mean, Cyan was OVC Newcomer of the Week this week.
Yep.
And so just to see that happen, that hasn't happened in a couple years, it's fun. It's awesome. It's, I think we're on the right track, and we're, but really the OVC is a big goal of ours, and making movement in there. Not to negate our 7-3 start, awesome, but definitely have a mindset of what the OVC and what we can do there.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully it'll bring good news and a good record too. I'm excited for you, and I'm sure the team is excited to get into that action. It'll be a tough year in the OVC, I think.
Oh yeah,
with women's basketball programs.
It's a little bit of a toss-up, I would say. Like
I
top
would
5, 6 are like.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Last night I was speaking to someone who works with Lindenwood's, broadcasting crew, and he's like, we're excited, and I'm like, we are too. Be ready, I think.
Yeah, they've had a great start too. So
yeah, they have.
There's been multiple teams in our league that are like, 2 and 3 losses.
Yeah.
So it's been really exciting to watch and to see everything. A lot more parity probably than in the past.
Yes. It should be a fun season. No excuse for fans to not show up to the first arena, or first community arena. Well, let's talk about some other side topics, just some storylines throughout the season. Obviously, you mentioned Macy Sylvie, another hometown hero from Edwardsville. You mentioned she's a captain, obviously doing very well on the stat sheet. Just talk about kind of getting to know her character and what she's brought to the team on and off the court.
Yeah, just someone who has really worked her tail off in terms of outside of practice, wanting to be different than she was the season before, the year before. And really honed in on, okay, what can I do to make us great? And that's just extra work. She's gotten probably triple the amount of shots up as her teammates, and I would probably argue like in the entire Ohio Valley Conference. So she's definitely a gym rat, and has worked really hard to get herself to this place as a senior. And just has a love for this area, obviously Edwardsville, but SIUE, the university. I've talked to her a couple times and been like, so if we get a 5th year, what are you thinking? And she's like, oh, I'm back for sure. And I'm like, that's awesome. Just to like hear that from a player, and just to see her growth and her, even the potential of what she can bring in the second part of her senior year. It's been awesome to see.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I have to ask you about this because I was at this game.
I want to ask.
Okay.
It's my favorite thing. I thought it was the funniest thing on earth. So the education game versus Indiana State.
Yes.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So Proctor threw a free throw to make the score 6-7.
Well,
Yes.
and the context. So, by the way, there are thousands of children. In
Yeah.
this arena.
there was.
And
It was very loud.
the only way to get to the golden number, 6-7, was to be fouled and to make the free throw.
Yes.
I'm sure that was immense pressure on
Yes.
Proctor.
Yes.
You have thousands of 9-year-olds depending on this shot.
Oh, yeah. They were. We
Take
had
us to the moment,
some
Coach.
of our kids were there.
Oh, no.
Because their schools were invited. Our children, our literal
Yes.
children. So they were just like so revved up about it. And the fact that it was Kiyoko, I think, made it even more like exciting.
Yes.
At the moment, and in the moment, she had told me after the game, I didn't even know that it was 67 yet, and I was like, you
Lies.
couldn't feel the buzz in the gym, you know?
We are pressuring her about that as soon
Yeah,
as
you can't see us right now, but we're doing this. You know, don't ask us what it means or where it comes from, but there's certainly an excitement around 6-7.
Yeah, no, as soon as I knew for sure that you guys were going to be on in Kiyoko Proctor, I was like, I have to ask about this. I have
Oh,
to.
yeah.
It's required.
Yeah.
I was there. So I was not to mention, I was in the press or the broadcast booth, which is like soundproofed a little bit. And
Not on that day.
no, our
Not on
camera
that
people
day.
who were sitting out there, like, it sounded like a kid was like next to your ear and just screaming into it. And I was like, we could tell because we could hear
Oh
it.
yeah,
It was,
that was an earplug needed day for sure.
yes, yes, it was.
Too fun.
That's great. That makes me happy to hear that Proctor had no idea.
Yeah, ask her about it.
I will. Don't worry.
Now she probably won't admit it. But
Yeah.
that was truthfully.
We'll
what
put
she
her on
said.
this. We'll put her on the spot though. Well, Coach Sam, thank you so much for joining us in studio here today. We appreciate you being our first reoccurring guest. And we always appreciate having you on. But don't go anywhere because we're going to have a couple more guests joining us here in just a moment, so stay tuned right after this. Wishing you a very happy holidays from the Alestle. We'll be enjoying the end of 2025 going into 2026, and we hope you do too. Don't worry, our shows will be back right after the start of the new year, along with all of our normal news content in print and online. So stay tuned for that and prepare for your spring semester here with the Alestle. But for now, enjoy those holiday season vibes. Okay, welcome back. We are back here on Alestletics. Sam and Audrey O'Rennick joining you, and we just had head coach Sam Smith on the show. But that's not it. It's not over. Don't stop listening because we have more guests, and they are from the same team, the women's basketball team here at SIUE. Both freshmen. We talked a lot about them with Coach Sam, so no pressure, you two. But we have Lauren Miller joining us and Kiyoko Proctor here in studio, and these two, let me tell you, the stats don't tell you enough. They are just fun to watch on the court. So I will turn it over to them. Thank you guys for joining us. And how are you enjoying the season so far?
Good. Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot.
That's good. So obviously this is your first year here at SIUE, but also in college as well, and for women's basketball Division I level. Let's kind of start with that just to ease into it. How's it been being here at SIUE, playing Division I basketball, and being a Cougar?
Yeah, it's been great. I think it was definitely a transition from high school to college, but the transition has been easy, being surrounded by great teammates, great coaches, and just the growth that I think individually and as a team we've shown since June is really something to look forward to.
I agree. Really happy to be here. Really a big transition from, high school and stuff, but love the coaching staff, love my teammates and everything about them.
Yeah. And I know you both are local from Illinois, Camp Point, correct? And
Correct.
Never heard of it until...
Most people have not.
Which is okay.
Yeah.
And then Kiyoko, you're obviously from Alton, which is not too far away.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure you guys have a very nice luxury of being close to home resources too. Yeah.
For sure.
So I guess let's talk about the stats first because they're quite impressive. Obviously, both of you are currently leading the team in points and many other stats that I will refrain from listing. Talk about how it's been so easy, I guess, or maybe not so easy to just dominate on the court.
I think, coming in, I know speaking for myself, I didn't, expect to go into that role or anything, but Coach talked a lot about, roles and doing, what she thinks should do on the court and kind of pushing us into those roles. So we kind of just fell into more of the scoring roles, and it just happened to be like that. And I think both of us are happy to take on that role, and we try and, perform as well as we can.
Yeah, I agree. Basically the same thing what Lauren said, really didn't expect like this much to happen, but, really grateful for like the opportunity and stuff we get to have and, pushing us to be in that scoring role. So I think that's just, a blessing.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's ask you a little bit about Coach Smith, because obviously we just had her in studio here. We're sorry we couldn't get you all in here. It's obviously limited by seats and microphones. However, a little bit more fun now. You can kind of tell us what you think of how she has been as a coach towards you guys without her hovering over your shoulder there.
Yeah, she's been great. I mean, she pushes us a lot. I think she instills a lot of confidence in us. Coming in as freshmen can probably be a little bit intimidating at times. Just the maybe the pressure to perform or just kind of fit in when it's such a big drastic transition. So really just encouraging us, making sure that she knows that she has confidence and the rest of the coaching staff has confidence in us. So it means a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Just to recap, we kind of talked about it with Coach Smith, but for you guys, the start to your season has been, again, historic in the last 12 years, best start in those 12 years played. Again, started off strong with Missouri Baptist, the Indiana State education game here at SIUE, and playing Missouri. I kind of wanted to talk about this game against Missouri. I know it's one of the 3 losses, which is probably distasteful for you guys, but at the end, it was only a 9-point loss, and it's a pretty good team there in Columbia, Missouri. So I'm sure you guys, while maybe it wasn't the result you wanted, got a good feel from the end of that game, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think going into that game, I felt our team, we weren't really looking like scared, I guess. Kind of, it's a big SEC team. It can be intimidating for sure. But I thought we were just telling each other, coaches really instilled in us, just go out there, play hard. Like, if you can beat any team if you, do these things. We had goals for sure. But just as the player's standpoint, I felt like we had a really good mentality going into that game.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, I think, like, in practice stuff, like, she gave us a lot of confidence. And, like, even though they're, like, a big SEC team, I think just studying the scout as well and, like, just focusing, like, on details in practice, I think she gave us, like, a real lot of confidence. And, like, nobody was really scared to just go out there and play. I think we really pushed and, like, was really aggressive throughout the whole game, too.
Awesome. I wanted to ask you a little bit about, so along with you two, there was 2 other freshmen that joined in the recruitment process, as well as 2 graduates that joined. And we've also had here at SIUE, we've had the privilege to have Macy Sylvie on the team for a long time and Jaden Bryant. Talk about what it's been playing with, like, the leaderships group of the team, including those 2 graduates and Macy Sylvie and Jaden Bryant.
It's great. I think just having, like, a bunch of people just, like, to look up to and just to lead the team, I think it's great. And it just, like, pushes our team to be better.
Yeah, their leadership has definitely been, great for me and all the younger kids on the team and transfers and everything. Yeah, they definitely kind of, I'd say, like, took us under our wing kind of, especially when we're playing. They've played college basketball for longer than we have, so they have more experience and kind of see the game in different ways too. So they're definitely not afraid to give us advice, and we're pretty good at, taking that advice.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, let's talk about some fun things that have happened, or, well, not necessarily all fun, just some themes going on through the season. First, Lauren, I'd like to ask you a little bit about the beginning to the season. You had broke your nose, correct?
Correct.
And you were wearing that face mask now. I will give you this, because I understand basketball, but I did not know that they allowed, like, face masks like that. So I was talking to Joe Pott before one of the games. I'm like, Does Lauren Miller wear that just for, like, does it, like, help her shoot better, or what? Well, I didn't know. Like, I really don't know if this is, like, and he's like, no, she broke her nose. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, so you, like, called me out there, made me feel like an idiot. However, it doesn't matter, broken nose or not, face mask or not, you've obviously done very well. But kind of talk about those first few weeks.
Yeah, not gonna lie, that was an unfortunate start to my collegiate career. First game of the season, got hit in the nose pretty hard and ended up breaking it. But luckily it wasn't. It was something that they said I could kind of play through. My breathing was good, so I just decided to put the mask on and play through it. And it's been about a month or so now, so I decided to take it off just because if anybody knows, it's not fun to play with.
Does that look fun?
Technically I don't. The doctor, I'm not obligated to, keep it on, so I decided to take it off, and it's been going good so far, knock on wood, but there's always that chance, it can happen again. So
Yeah, funny enough, as few times as I'd seen that in basketball, I thought, well, they're putting that away. They're never going to need that again. And then, like, weeks later, Jack Campion broke his nose.
Yeah.
And now he's wearing it.
I know I was talking to him the other day, and I was like, I feel your pain. Like, I understand what you're going through.
Yeah, and his was rough. He was bleeding all over. Now, I think yours was on the road, though, correct?
It was at home.
Oh, it was at home.
Game.
It was at home, okay.
And luckily, we had a pretty big lead, so we decided to just stay out. But there was a lot of blood and very crooked, so
I think you earned the seat.
Yeah.
Not to say like, oh, you don't want to get out there and play more, but yeah, you can only do what you can at that point. Well, let's talk about this next one that Audrey and I are both very excited about. Speaking of home games, the Indiana State education game. Obviously, I hate myself for this, but obviously it was the game with all the children there in attendance, thousands of kids at First Community Arena, all waiting for the magic number. And we brought this up to Coach Sam too, because there was the circumstance of you had to be fouled in order to get to this magic number. And Kiyoko, you were the player of selection that did get fouled. And we asked Coach Sam, we said, well, did Kiyoko feel the pressure? What was the vibe on the bench? You have thousands of kids screaming probably right into your ear. So tell us a little bit about this game and Kiyoko, specifically that magic moment.
I'm not even gonna lie. I did not know I was gonna hit the point. I didn't even know until like the kids started like screaming. So I was like, oh shoot, because Lauren had said something to us like before I went to the free throw line. I was like, huh? I was just confused, but then I was like, oh, that's why she said that.
All right, well, just to let you know, you told the truth. We asked your coach, and she said the same thing. That's what you told her.
I did not know.
She said you might try to deny that.
And then she actually did the move.
Did.
She literally went like that.
We might have to Too bad we don't have this on film. We couldn't show you. But I'm sure it was a fun game nonetheless. I was there, and it was
all the kids just so hyped for that. It's gotta feel good.
It was a really fun environment. That was a pretty big win for us, and so I think it being early, them having to come early probably didn't help, but just having. I know the first play of the game, I think I threw it to Kiyoko and she got an and one, and that was the loudest. My ears were
oh my God.
ringing.
Yeah, it was rough.
I was like, wow, because
really
I know, Coach Sam said there was gonna be thousands of kids, and then when they all started coming in, I was very shocked that she was not lying.
Not joking.
Yeah. They just kept coming in, and I was like,
where are they gonna find all these kids?
But no, it was awesome. It was really fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
No, that's definitely a fun moment of the season, I'm sure. I know I had a good time. Well, I had a good time for the most part, I should say. So let's speaking of in the 60s numbers, let's talk about the announcement of the 60s Sixers uniform. Obviously, that's kind of a special thing that you guys will get to experience in your first year. I don't think SIUE, in my recent memory, has done an alternate appearance.
This is our first one in history.
Yeah, so the fact that they're doing it while you guys are here is pretty cool. I saw they posted some photos of the uniforms. I'm sure you guys have seen them.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the uniforms and just the event overall? New Year's Day, we'll get to see these things in action.
Oh yeah, the uniforms look nice. I'm excited to wear them. So really, that's it. I'm just
I think it's cool. It's something different. And just to be a part of it, it's kind of cool to say whatever. And then we'll have the jerseys and names on the back. I'm not sure what they'll do with them, but just kind of something fun to celebrate, that anniversary of the road.
You have to think, though, it is kind of sad that it's 66ers and it's so close. It's just
I've seen a lot of Facebook comments about that.
I can't imagine on the court, maybe some team, I just know they're gonna be chirping. They
chirping.
They are. Sorry, that's the hockey terminology for it. But I was wondering, what's going to be the response when they're like, Sixers, could be 67ers?
Yeah. She's like, I don't know. It's not up to me.
Yeah, that's when you say it's above my pay.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit more about some basketball things, not so much just numbers-wise. But I wanted to ask, Kiyoko, obviously you're playing really close to home. Coach Sam mentioned that you get to bring your family every game, and I'm sure both of you really do. It's really not that far away. But just talk about, for either of you, the meaning it is to have your family here at SIUE, at the games, cheering you on, and what that means to you.
Yeah, it means a lot to me, just having my family there and just, realizing that, I have a lot of support, especially from home. And, a lot of my friends get to come to the game, so I'm really not that far. And then, a lot of my family. So just being close to home is just, really nice because even if I need something, I can just go home, So
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, that is a nice thing, the drive home. Lauren?
Yeah, I usually don't, I'm not able to go home as much, but, my parents have come to every single game, and my grandparents get to come to all the home games, and I've had some friends come, and just the support and the family, it just means so much to me, big family person. So, yeah, just seeing them in the stands, being able to talk to them a little bit, it definitely makes your day.
Yeah, don't worry about going home. You can just go to Kiyoko's for
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this start to the season here. So the 7-3 win, I mentioned it earlier. It's best in the last 12 years. There's a bit of pressure, I think, on this team, not just on any one individual, but that the team succeeds. And you guys have done well leading the team, but how are you kind of handling? I know you mentioned earlier the pressure. How are you kind of handling taking a leading role, not just on the court, but kind of in the locker room too now at this point?
I think just, trusting, what we've done so far, and, there's pressure, but not, putting too much pressure on us. That's a good thing. You don't want to, beat yourself up about something, but I think just, trusting what we've done, everything in practice, what we work for, take one game at a time, just we're working towards, a win, one game at a time, and trust our coaches, everybody.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely trusting everybody around us and just trusting our teammates as well. I think everyone just leans on each other, and we just really trust each other and the coaching staff as well. So
very cool. Okay, I have to ask, and I asked this to Coach Sam, does the OVC officially have your address? Because you guys have been sent the OVC Freshman of the Week award. 3 weeks, I think 3 weeks in a row between the two of you. I just have to know, are you expecting it every week, or do you have contact with these people?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say for both of us, speaking for both of us, they're cool awards and everything, but it definitely reflects more the team. I'd say even though it's an individual award, we wouldn't be in those positions without the team, and again, they trust us and have confidence in us, so they put us in positions they think we're going to be successful in. Yeah,
I agree. I think, you see it and it's okay, cool. But, I think just it really matters about the team and about us. So it's that's really all we really care about. And, just trusting our teammates,
Yeah, you guys are too humble, I think. Just a little. But no, that's so fair. I think, again, being an outsider and just kind of following along the team, you can tell there's definitely a different vibe. And both of you really bring a different element to the game, I think. Kiyoko, very exciting. I have to ask about some of these steals that you've had in your own court, and you just run down the other way and score, make it look easy. I don't know how you do it, but it brings that electric energy to the arena. And Lauren, I told Coach Sam that it feels very calm. You bring a calm sense to the court, just owning your side of the court, and you take that to the other side as well. I'm sure Audrey and I can agree that watching women's basketball has been very exciting this season. It was definitely my team to watch going into the year.
Awesome.
And then seeing the additions, obviously, that makes it more fun. So I guess I'll let Audrey ask you about the OVC play coming up here.
Yeah, so you guys have 2 more games before Christmas break, and you will be going into OVC tomorrow, Thursday for when this episode comes out. The next game would be Saturday.
This episode will release on this Saturday, so you will have played Eastern.
Yes.
We're going into the future here.
Yes, sorry, I'm not good with math. All right. So how do you feel about, starting OVC play, obviously coming off of a pretty great preseason, but actually going into the OVC now?
Oh, yeah. I think we're very excited, very locked in for it since it's our first, OVC game. So I think all of us are excited, and I think, really confident about this game. So just excited to win.
Yeah, really excited. It's like we've kind of said, the coaches said it's really a new kind of chapter in the season. There has to be new energy, new everything, and it really is a different part of the season. So kind of taking, that energy from the last part of the season, but also carrying something a little new into the next part.
Yeah, very exciting. I know Eastern Illinois is a very good team, and hopefully Western is improved from last season. I know they had their struggles. Well, hey, I'm just calling it like it is, But the OVC as a whole has a very good setup, and Coach Sam mentioned it earlier. There's going to be a lot of parity going into this year, she thinks. So we'll see how the Cougars fare, but I think with you two at the helm, and the rest of your team behind it, I think you guys will have a fair shake.
Yeah.
Let's I wanted to ask you guys this, of your favorite part about SIUE so far. Obviously, this is only the first semester.
Yeah.
You got a lot of time left. But just what you've really enjoyed about the school, whether it's the mascot, which is debatable for some, or if it's just being on the team, or really whatever it is you've come to enjoy the most.
Yeah, I mean, first thing that sticks out, obviously, is basketball on the team.
Yeah.
But I'd say, classes are going well. I like all my professors, and campus is, great. So many resources to use. And I think that's one thing, like, when we got to college and just playing Division I basketball, they take care of you, like, really well. That's really nice and something I don't take for granted. So it's really, really nice.
Yeah, I think just being around my teammates, I love being around my teammates. And, yeah, the campus is really nice, like you said, a lot of resources. If you don't really want to go, like, get no food or anything, you can just go to the Muck or something like that to get your food.
Freshmen.
But, yeah. But, yeah, that's really it. Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, Freshens and Chick-fil-A. Sad. But that's what we have.
Yeah.
All right, we'll leave you with the holiday question, because it's clearly getting close to that time of year. What are you wishing for the holidays, and what are some of those holiday plans you got coming up? As basketball kicks off, obviously, we all want basketball wins, but maybe not off the court.
Well, for basketball, get a win right before.
Yeah.
That would be a really big one for us at Western. And just being home, seeing some of my friends I haven't seen in a while, just spending time with cousins, grandparents, people, I don't get to visit with a lot.
Yeah, getting those 2 wins, before Christmas break, that would be a really great start for my Christmas. And, yeah, just seeing my family, seeing my aunties, my cousins, I'm really excited, so.
Always basketball wins.
Yeah.
Hopefully Santa brings them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for joining us. We really appreciate having you on the show. And again, for those that are listening, you have no excuse to not be at a women's basketball game this season. The team it's just fun to watch on the court. Ignoring the stats, the eye test, they pass it. So get out there and check these two out on the court, as well as the rest of the team, because there's a lot going on there for women's basketball here at SIUE. Audrey, I don't think we have anything else.
No, I think we covered it all.
I think we covered it all. And in terms of Alestle news, Alestle After Hours, our other show, will return after the new year, as well as Alestletics will also return after the new year. So this is our goodbye. So sad. Goodbye, 2025. Hello, 2026. We'll be back next year with all kinds of new content and new updates. So we'll see you then, and that'll do it for this episode and the year.
Bye.
Bye.